Well, hello there, everyone. It is Saturday, June the 11th, year 2022. This year is passing on. It's almost halfway over. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. I'm just mazske. Anyway, as always, try to subscribe. Try to click the thumbs up. Try to comment. I appreciate all comments, just no spam. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to upload either before that I upload this video or maybe later, probably later, a talk that Helicopter Pilot Caleb and I did, talk about the economy and how it affects real estate and that sort of thing. Okay, something I'm going to talk about in this video. It might be a tad bit different than my other videos that I've done. Anyway, while I'm thinking about it, if plans go accordingly, next Wednesday, June the 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to try to do another live talk. This live talk is going to be on the broad subject of can you be financially independent within approximately 10 years, okay? And I'll explain why, leading up to that, why I'm talking on that topic. All right, getting back to it. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, many years, okay? I was a business major back in the late 80s, early 90s. Right? I minored in accounting. I crunched a lot of numbers, took a lot of business classes, management, so on, accounting, whatever, finance stuff. But then, and I've told you the story before, I was a mutual fund investor starting about 1990. I found the Motley Fool in 1999. I invested in individual stocks and I had a successful run. I had very little money. But I had a successful run with stocks. I started pulling out of stocks after I got into real estate because I realized real estate, number one, had better numbers. Number two, it appears to be less volatile. And number three, just the way the economy is. All right. And a couple things with the economy that I don't think Caleb and I touched on this at all. We as a country have astronomical debt. All right. This debt has been progressing going back to my earliest memory. A history lesson for all of you. In 1971, I think it was, Richard Nixon was the president. It was prior to the Watergate scandal. He took the American dollar off the gold standard. Over the years, I've looked at graphs and charts in regards to this. When the dollar went off, I got hands, I don't have a whiteboard behind me or paper, but when the dollar went off the gold standard, the dollar started going up, started increasing. And one thing that started happening then was the disconnect or the separation between, in quotes, Wall Street and Main Street America. Okay, that was happening more so in the 80s. It was happening in the 90s after I had gone to college and I was paying more attention to it. It was happening in the 2000s. I remember as a police officer telling coworkers, and they didn't understand what I was saying, that if you look at businesses, the average CEO used to make, and I'll make up numbers, 10 to 15 times more than the average worker, factory worker on the floor. Now the average CEO is making hundreds or maybe thousands of times above what the average worker is working under them. The old saying, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. If you look at the economy, you look at wages, you look at inflation, the average American, it's harder now. When I was a kid, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, my dad was working. My dad worked two jobs. He was a firefighter and he was a painter on the side and other odd jobs. He worked a lot. Okay, he had 5 kids though. We took 2 vacations a year. Growing up in Maryland, I visited Canada, I came down to Florida and places in between. Okay, so we weren't poor, but there were times money was very tight with 5 kids, 1 working parent. You fast forward to now, if you have a couple with 5 children, there is no way they could have one parent be a stay-at-home parent unless the other one was making a huge salary, like a big salary. If they were just the average American, they can't do that. And buy a house big enough for 5 kids. I mean, yes, there's going to be the outliers that will do that, that will have 5 kids and can afford a house, but it's harder than it was before. With inflation, I saw locally in the newspaper, city employees where I live at, they're getting a 10% raise. 10, 15 years ago when I was working, if we were getting a 10% raise, it's like, yes, we're going to be, inflation might be 3% and our health insurance went up this much, but a 10% raise will make a profit this for the first time. But they're getting a 10% raise. However, inflation came out at 8.6% for the month of May. Prices are going up more than wages are going up. Okay? Now, if you look at mainstream media and you follow financial stuff like I follow, you hear everyone talking, so it seems to my brain, about a recession coming. You see more and more about that. You see stuff about the market crashing. You see stuff about the housing market crashing, and so on and so on. But at the same time, society is different now. I said this in a prior video. Life is different now than it used to be. All right, we have instantaneous feedback for some stuff. But at the same time, that disconnect between the rich and the not rich is still getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, we've had rioting take place in this country. We've had uproar. If you look at the two-party political system, when I was a kid, there's differences, but they can meet in the middle. Nowadays, there's big differences, and they're far from meeting in the middle. And that's the way society seems to be. It's like we're not getting along, right? But while that's happening, those that are knowledgeable about this and don't get caught up in the daily drama of politics, jobs, economic numbers, rise above it, look at yourself, look at your finances, learn how to invest. If you're watching this video for the first time, I've said this before, I've been cautioned by other YouTubers not to say this, is that you need to learn how to be frugal. All right, if you never learned your entire life and you want to learn how to invest, you need to learn how to be frugal. I raised 2 children with a wife with a starting salary in the police department of $23,000 a year in 1998. My mortgage was one of my 2 paychecks a month. I learned how to be very frugal. All right, if I can do it, you can do it. But granted, it's harder now because we have too much temptation, too many cell phones, too many high definition TVs, cars are so pretty, etc., etc., etc. It's hard to resist. And cook a dinner in your own kitchen, it's so much easier to go eat, order your food in. You got DoorDash, you got Instacart, so on and so on. It's a service economy. But with all this rambling that I'm doing, something to think about. What if we don't go into a recession? But what if we don't continue the bull market per se? What if we just start, because the Fed right now, the Fed is raising rates. They're going to raise the rate again. But the Fed has pumped so much money into the system. Not just, this is political. If you hear one side right now, they say it's just the current president. It's not. This goes back to 1971 and every single president since then. Every single one. Both parties. Okay? Get your head wrapped around it. It is both parties. We vote Congress in there. It's almost all of them that are spending the money. All right? But the Fed is pumping money into the economy more than it's ever been. There's more money floating around now than it's ever been floating around. Okay? So, as investors, we can learn how to invest so we can get our fair share part of it. But while we're doing this, mainstream America is going to fall on harder times. It's going to become the new normal. Do you understand me? It's going to become the new normal, that life is like it is. It's going to become the new normal that we have more rioting taking place on whatever topic. We might have more families living together. We'll have folks getting upset over some folks wanting to put their hand out to give me, and the other ones say, well, I worked hard all my life. Why do my tax dollars have to give it to them? But what we have to do is rise above the cream, rise to the top, learn how to invest. I've told my mastermind group this. A lot of them, they're progressing towards accreditation, but they're not there yet. We are in a window of time. Like real estate, I'll go back to real estate. I've said this before, and this is what my live stream next Wednesday I will talk about. Any working American, if they want it, has the possibility of becoming financially independent within approximately 10 years. All right. The reason I'm going to talk about that is I got slammed on another channel because I put a comment in regards to that, and I got slammed. Slammed is I got gently chastised. Let's say that what I said is wrong, that any working American cannot be financially independent. I backed out of that conversation. All right. Because it's the wrong mindset. It's the negativity mindset. We have to have the proper mindset and be willing to accept that we can do this. We can do it. It's up to us. It's up to us. We have to make the conscious decisions that we can do it. Don't chase the latest fad, be it crypto, be it stocks, be it the meme stocks, be it whatever. Don't chase them. Buying real estate is proven for a long time. Buy and hold real estate is the best way to achieve wealth. Now, with that being said, if you are accredited, we're at a window of opportunity, probably for the next 4, 5, 10 years. Oil and natural gas is just primed to be one of the top performing energy is primed to be one of the top performing asset classes. Yes, oil is a finite resource, but it's going to be a long time. We're not weaned off the addiction to oil. All right. So if you're accredited, I've had Tom Harris, I forget now, on my channel, I'm talking about great returns with oil drilling. I've talked about mineral rights acreage on my channel. It's that moment of time. We're living in it right now. Wake up, look at the big picture. Don't get caught up in the daily drama. It's everywhere. Try to ignore it, but learn how to invest. If you're not accredited, get on the real estate ladder as quick as you can and keep growing as quick as you can in a safe way. Okay? That's enough being said. We'll talk again next Wednesday. I'll have videos between now and then. I'll upload the one with Caleb and I talking sometime today as well. And I'll have more videos between now and then. But next Wednesday, mark your calendar, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mazske will be live taking your questions. The first couple minutes, I will talk a little bit about why I believe any working American can achieve financial independence in roughly 10 years. But I challenge you, if you disagree with me, by all means, come let me know. All right, good enough. Have a great day. Mazske is signing out.